All right, let's dive into ECM6500 Operations Digital Transformation, Module 4. We're about to challenge a long-held and frankly outdated belief about the role some of the most basic departments play in any company. So, when you think of departments like finance or human resources, what comes to mind? Probably tracking expenses, managing paperwork, right? For decades, that's pretty much how everyone saw them. But what if they could be so much more? That's the big question we're digging into.
Yeah, for the longest time, they were just support functions, necessary, but seen as cost centers that just tallied up what already happened yesterday. Well, in this module, we're going to flip that entire script. Just look at this contrast. It's pretty stark. The old way, finance was stuck in the past, buried under piles of old ledgers and doing everything by hand. It was all reactive. But now, with the right digital tools, finance becomes a strategist. We're not just talking about balancing the books anymore. The game has totally changed. It's about using real-time data to actually predict where the company's headed financially.
Okay, let's make this real. Think about something like invoice management. Ugh, it's always been this slow, manual process, super prone to errors, right? It could take weeks. But now you bring in AI. Suddenly, you have a system that learns your payment history, sorts invoices on its own, and, this is the really cool part, it can flag potential fraud or mistakes before a single dollar goes out the door. This completely frees up the CFO. They can stop being a glorified scorekeeper and start being a real strategic partner in the business.
All right, so that's finance. Now let's pivot over to HR, because a very similar massive transformation is happening there too. See, human resources is facing a totally new ballgame, managing a workforce that basically grew up with a smartphone in their hand.
I mean, think about it. This new generation of workers, they're super tech-savvy. A lot of them work remotely. And they have this expectation, a totally reasonable one, by the way, that their experience at work should be as smooth and easy as their experience as a consumer. If you can order a car with a single tap, why on earth should you have to fill out 3 paper forms and wait a week just to update your benefits? That old way just doesn't fly anymore.
And let's be clear, we're not talking about some distant future here. This is happening right now. The source material really hammers this home. The workforce with these high-tech expectations, they're already in your office, or, working from their home office. And companies that don't get their HR functions up to speed are going to get left in the dust.
So here's the bottom line. Digitizing HR isn't just a nice to have for convenience. No. This is a hardcore competitive advantage. We're talking about better recruiting, keeping your best people from leaving, and actually managing performance in a way that works. All of that stuff has a direct, measurable impact on your business's success.
Okay, but it's not all sunshine and roses. With all this amazing transformation comes a whole new world of risk. It's not as simple as just plugging in some new software. We absolutely have to understand the new weak spots it creates. Now, when you hear risk in the context of digital stuff, your mind probably jumps straight to hackers and cyber attacks, right? And yeah, of course, those are incredibly serious. But the material we're looking at points to an even bigger danger, one that's often completely missed. That's right. The biggest things that can derail a digital transformation are often happening right inside the company's own walls. We're talking about the culture, the skills of the employees, and the vision of the leadership. The story of General Electric is the perfect and honestly pretty sobering example of this. They poured a ton of money into new tech, but the transformation just fizzled. It didn't deliver. And why? Because leadership completely underestimated the massive investment needed in their own people, in skills, in changing processes, and critically in getting employees bought into the whole thing. Okay, so let's tie this all together. What's the big idea here? The whole point of this module is to give you the playbook for turning these traditionally boring administrative departments into some of your most powerful strategic weapons. This right here is the new definition of competitive advantage. It's about taking functions like finance and HR and using them to proactively hunt for insights in the data, to actually drive strategy, and to look forward to create opportunities instead of just reporting on what happened last quarter. By the time we're done here, you're going to have the tools to assess exactly what's needed for this kind of transformation. So the question I want you to keep in the back of your mind as we go is this: how are you going to take these ideas and build a real competitive advantage in your own world? All right, let's jump in.